Assalamu alaikum. Our today's topic is facial nerve. So, the diagram represents the lateral view of the skull of human body, and we'll use this diagram through our tutorial session to describe the structure of facial nerve and its different branches. So, let's start. For studying the anatomy of facial nerve, we'll have to divide it into three portions. The first portion being the intracranial portion, the second one intratemporal portion, and the third one extracranial portion, which is also called the branchial motor portion. Facial nerve is basically a cranial nerve, and a cranial nerve is the one which is derived from the brain. It is actually the seventh cranial nerve. Coming to its functions, we see it's a bilateral nerve which functions in the general sensations like to the area of the ear and special sensations like the sensations of taste at the anterior two-thirds of the tongue, the parasympathetic innervation to certain glands like salivary gland, mucus secreting glands, and lacrimal gland, and the branchial motor functions to the muscles of facial expressions and some of the smooth muscles. Coming to the intracranial part, the diagram represents the brainstem and the intracranial portion of facial nerve highlighted in green. If we look at the brain from the inferior view, the facial nerve here is highlighted in green. It arises from the pontomedullary junction between the abducens nerve and the vestibulocochlear nerve, which are the sixth and the eighth cranial nerve respectively. In the intracranial part, the course of facial nerve is such that it travels anteromedially to the internal acoustic meatus, and then it has two roots. One is motor root and one is sensory root. The sensory root is also called the intermediate nerve, which is being shown in the diagram highlighted in green. Coming to the intratemporal part, the facial nerve enters the intratemporal portion through the petrous portion of the temporal bone. Here it lies in close relationship with the middle ear as shown in the diagram. In the intratemporal part, the facial nerve gives several branches which are named as geniculate ganglion, greater petrosal nerve, the pterygopalatine ganglion, the chorda tympani, and the submandibular ganglion. And lastly, there is a branch which is the nerve to the stapedius muscle in the ear, which is helpful in the dampening of sound. Next, our part is the extracranial portion, which is also called the branchial motor portion. Now, we'll have to check what actually the branchial motor components are. The major motor components of facial nerve that arise and exit the skull from the stylomastoid foramen are called the branchial motor components. Talking embryologically, the second branchial arch is supplied by the facial nerve in the embryological era of fetus. Therefore, the facial nerve supplies the muscles of facial expressions as shown, highlighted in green, the muscles related to auricle, the auricular muscles that are highlighted here in blue, and it also supplies the stylohyoid muscle and the posterior belly of the digastric. The facial nerve enters the parotid gland and divides into 5 branches as shown here highlighted in green. The different branches of facial nerve form facial plexus. The branches of facial nerve include the temporal branch, the zygomatic branch, the buccal branch, the marginal branch, which is actually the marginal mandibular branch, and the cervical branch and the posterior auricular branch. This was all about the anatomy of facial nerve and its branches. Thank you.